resuming our campaign here as the Arverni, who are having a pretty good time. The Arverni are now trying to figure out what to do against the Massilians here in the south. We were able to rout a couple of their armies who are now kind of in tatters over next to the border with the province of Cisalpina and their city of Genua. They have a force here. Ares' Dread, an enemy army. It's not that strong, it's 14 units, but the city of Massalia itself has a garrison of 17. So it'll be a difficult thing to just attack it outright. We have a positive influx of food now, which was a problem before, and our income looks okay. Looks like we're getting some income here. We can continue to recruit some units. We're going to send the Claws of Andarta back to Bivracte. We were waiting for the Wolkai to... we were actually trying to set up an ambush for the Wolkai to attack them. I know they are a client state of the Massilians. Turns out, we're not technically at war with them. They're actually not on great terms with the Massilians themselves. I wish there was an option to kind of try to subvert them, to say, hey, if you join us, we'll grant you your freedom. But that's not an option, at least from what I can see here. And it looks like they're going to... Oh, we are going to retreat.
Retreat, my warriors! Retreat!
So we're going to play this smart. See if we can continue to harry their troops. I don't necessarily want to give them enough time to replenish. It looks like we might be able to go towards the eastern side of the map over here where this one army is sitting. If we could take them out one by one, piecemeal, it'll be easier, as long as we're outside of the reinforcement range from Massalia right here. We have two pretty strong armies here. They're not full strength, but they're not depleted. We've merged our units. We've consolidated our forces. We have a little bit more experience. So we need to find out how to kind of pick them apart. Now, the other thing is that we can go and attack Genua, but that would leave our frontier open for them to come in. So Aburia has increased in rank. And the household expands. Namatios now has Caracallos. Save the turn. Decided to put an S at the beginning of the turn to denote the start of a turn. Let's send this unit back. Now, we have a scout here. They have a hero here. Their army is replenishing here. As long as we can get to this army, they can't be reinforced. Can we do this? Do we have the movement points for it? Sabotage, assassination, maybe? No?
How can I assist you?
Let's see if we can actually move our troops. How far we can move our troops. Not too far. So maybe we can set up an ambush here.
I live to serve the people of Gaul. Getting on our way. Is that all? Lying in wait.
So now we can set up an ambush here. And here, can't really do anything else. We'll just kind of stay close by. We can lure them out. I think if we move our army here... No, okay, it won't let us.
Watch over this traveler.
Now, in terms of trade and finance, things are going pretty well. Can we look at our diplomacy screen? Maybe we can open another trade route. The Carnutes now have taken over the Lexowii, and they're on pretty good terms with the Namnetes and Pictones, so maybe they're a little bit
The gods will have me listen to you.
Non-aggression pact?
Pass the day in words without merit.
No. Okay, we'll take... We have to kind of... Okay. Oh, Iburia has a skill that we haven't assigned to her yet.
Thirsty for battle.
Okay. Iburia. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. This seems interesting. Let's do that. We'll see if we can catch the Massilians asleep in terms of their strategic moves here. Now, we do have an army on our own border that is ours. I've been using that to kind of recruit units and then have them ferry them back and forth. The other thing we can do is have them just serve as a garrison. We can try to see if we can outflank the Massilians here. They're obviously preparing for us. Oh, okay. That is great. We're going to save this. This should be an easy auto-resolve. That is pretty bad for them. And let's just auto-resolve this. Maybe say aggressive stance. That was exactly what I wanted to try to do, set up an ambush for them. So we captured some of their enemy. We lost 13 men. They lost 374, 13 kills. We captured the rest of their army. Let's go ahead and ransom those captives and get the income.
On the move, lads.
Now they have a couple armies moving into Genoa here. So I think they're going to try to see if they can reinforce this. They're sending armies east instead of staying around Massalia. Now, the trick here is that I think they might be able to lure us into encircling Massalia and then, with the combined armies that they have, force a defeat on our armies together. So, even though we can attack Massalia, I think we're going to try to pursue the other army that's heading towards Genoa right now. Try to head them off of the pass, maybe set up an ambush when they try to reinforce Massalia. We'll have our stronger army wait in the pass here, next to the coast. And if we can set up an ambush with them, do that. Have our other army loot, raid, reduce public order, force the Massilians to come out and fight us outside of the city. See if that stratagem works. Okay, we have a subject who has gained notoriety. We need to go handle that. Hidden agent exposed. Astioch has been exposed. War declared. The Namnetes are now or the Carnutes. We don't really have relations with either one of them. Carnutes were friendly towards us. Now they are not. Or they're a little less friendly than they were before. Encourage populace in Aquitania, which is our home province. Increase tax rate. +1 growth per turn. Household expands. The king has a trophy hunter. +8% to the chance of discovering hidden agents and armies when general. And Namatios is now obsessive because he's matured. Decreased chance of success of enemy agent actions. Increased chance of successfully launching an ambush in a local region while deployed. But reduced chance to kill a target during assassination. And reduced campaign movement range for enemy army after successfully sabotaging supplies. So, and an increased chance of evading enemy agents. So, Astioche, I keep thinking that's my agent because I played as the Massilians, and Astioche was the name of my agent, but that is obviously not the case here. Let's go ahead and save the turn here. We're going to try to set up that ambush that I was talking about to try to cut off those forces in that pass that have now decided to move towards Genoa.
Warriors all!
Seems like we can't move that far, though.
Gaul is mother to us all!
So what we can do is maybe set up an ambush with our larger force here.
For the tribe! Surprise will be our
And then maybe we can actually raid with this other army here.
We will hear the lamentation of their women.
Honor the god
Our scout.
and your ancestors.
Let's see if we can just kind of take a look here
Heading out.
at what's happening. And we can also steal food. Oh, I guess we cannot deploy this turn. We can go further east to Genoa.
Travel
Looks like they have a fleet here.
truly free.
And this army... No, let's not select him while we check their stats here. There's a unit, a 17-unit army here. They have pretty interesting variety of troops, mostly hoplites.
How can I moving unseen?
Let's...
Honor the gods.
So he's within our territory right now, so we can actually recruit an army. Let's recruit some units here. The heavy cav is pretty decisive, it seems, and we'll hire a couple units of that. Now we have a character who has an intrigue. From the mists, a hag has been spotted rising from the mists of a stream. The local people fear she may be a sign from the gods, a sign of a terrible misfortune to come. So bury a sacrifice, make votive offerings, or do nothing. So let's do some offerings. A hag appeared in a stream, and we must make offerings to the gods and goddesses with rivers. Only they can protect us from her malice. Or bury a sacrifice. Bury a sacrifice. A hag is a sure sign of a bad harvest. We must make an offering to the gods of the earth to prevent the hag's malice poisoning our crops. Let's go ahead and make some offerings. Can we do anything interesting here with the intrigues? There's a lot of actions we can do. Do we have an heir? I don't think we do. I'm not sure if we can create an heir. Who is our heir? Oh, let's seek a spouse. Okay, now we'll be able to have an heir, hopefully. I think that's all we can do. It is the winter time. Campaigning is definitely going to be more difficult. In terms of our treasury, our army upkeep is 3468. We're getting a decent amount of income. We can't really upgrade any of these buildings that we have right now. Let's check the diplomacy screen. The Carnutes are now at war with the Namnetes. We're not necessarily on bad terms with the Namnetes, but the Pictones and the Carnutes are both close to one another, and that's one of our strongest allies. The Sequani are also friendly towards us. Same thing with the Treviri Confederation. We have a trade agreement with them. I mean, non-aggression pact? No. Let's just go ahead and proceed with a proceed with the turn. Trying to consolidate power here without losing control of our home territories. This is an interesting point in the game. For me, anyway. Last time I expanded as Massalia, I gained a couple provinces, and that brought on war with the Romans. Oddly enough. Even though they were not necessarily on good terms with the Ligurians or the Insubres. Now, when the spring comes, hopefully we'll be able to set up an ambush right in this wood area here. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to detect that. We might be able to set up both of our armies here. That's outside the reinforcement range of Massalia, I believe. If we could take out this larger army, that would make things a lot easier for us. I'm not necessarily trying to take out the Massalians right now. I realize there are definitely other options. We can sack Massalia. Our hidden agent exposed, Namatios. And there's a food shortage. From the mists, Nomosos, the offerings were cast into the stream, and the people waited to see if the gods would drive the hag from the stream. She was never seen again, and the people thanked the gods for delivering them from misfortune. So now we have a good omen. Increased public order for the next 2 turns. Let's go ahead and save this. Now, can these armies...
Ready for orders.
I guess, I don't know, we can't... Oh, it's because we're in a weird stance here. Let's get into the regular stance, see how far we can move these armies. So we can set up an ambush here really easily. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and move him there, move our king here, Alcudix. Let's see. 40% ambush chance. Light Forest, here we go.
Getting on our way. Yeah.
Oh, we can't set up an ambush, oddly enough.
Gaul is mother to us all.
Now let's make sure that we're within reinforcement distance here.
Starting out. Your next command.
Yes.
And now, because we're moving further away from home, I'm assuming that's the reason why this maintenance cost is increased. Let's save this. Now, they see where we're at. I'm not sure if they're going to try to go back into Massalia. It's been a game of cat and mouse with these Massalian armies. I'm in no rush. We can play this game as long as necessary to not throw away our troops, our experience. I've been doing a lot of auto-resolves to make sure that I don't screw up the fact that we've set up these ambushes. I'm not quite skillful yet at playing... Oh, here we go. Okay, so they have a much larger reinforcement force here, so we're going to retreat.
Run!
And there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now, in that pursuit, we're able to defend. Now, we theoretically have superiority numerically here. It's about, what, 3,200 troops? Somewhere around that. But they also have more troops than we do, but we have, according to this, better strength. We can't retreat. So I'm going to auto-resolve this to make sure that we don't lose this numerical advantage. Close victory is fine. A victory is a victory. Let's do a balanced stance here. Close victory, we've captured 383 of them. We did lose quite a few troops there, 1,437, but they lost more. They lost 2,612, and their army that remains is smaller. They've lost a few units here. Quite a few. We lost 1 unit of our cav, which kind of makes sense. Now we need to kind of consolidate these guys. Now we have a lot of experience right here. Our slingers are doing really, really well. Let's ransom the captives.
Destination reached.
Now we can pick them apart. We actually have the forces to be able to do that. Now, they kind of walked into that with, for some weird reason, we weren't even setting up an ambush. I know they know that those two armies were right next to each other and they would reinforce each other, so I don't know why they tried to pursue, knowing that the other army would be able to reinforce. It seems like a pretty poor decision on their part, but I'm not going to fault the AI for making a bad decision. I feel that now, since my troops have so much experience and I'm kind of tentative about engaging in actual battles, I'm not sure how likely I am to do that unless I have an army that's at equal strength and I can't retreat from, and then I'll go ahead and attack. Or I think if it might, tip the battle decisively in our favor, I will go ahead and do that. If we have a significant advantage and we've set up some kind of trap or ambush or ruse, I will let the computer auto-resolve that. Research complete. Emergency measures. Those who cannot fight are of little use in a siege. Military traditions. Defenders of the Hills are now rank 3, and an increase in rank for Aukirix. There is still a continuing food shortage in the Arverni home territory, and a subject gains notoriety. Huertoris is now infamous. Minus 5% influence. Character personality report. Aburia is now a champion. Increased authority, cunning, zeal, and wealth from adventuring. Aukirix's household has expanded to increase with another trophy hunter, and now war has been declared by the Pictones upon the Namnetes. Let's save this. Beginning of summer. So now that we are actually at the peak of the campaign season, do we have the troops to eliminate these two armies here? We can send our scout into Massalia proper.
The shadows.
Do we see anybody? There is one army over here. I want him to be able to get enough of a view here. Now, we can research another tech. We just researched, what was that? Emergency measures? So, reduced banditry and minus 2% attritional losses when under siege. Now, we need to be able to develop some siege tactics. Great food vault. Nope. So we need better siege tactics. If we're going to take a city like Massalia that has walls, we need to have the siege technology to do so. Let's go ahead and research that. And a hostile governor. The local chieftain detests you. He curses your ambitions, your military might, and mocks your manhood. He makes it known to all that he should stand in your place. Bribe to your side. Try to discredit. Assassinate or do nothing. Let's try to see if we can bribe him. Now we can have skills here. We have another skill for Aukirix. Somebody in the community suggested military logistician. The yellow command tree would be good because it increases replenishment. So at the first level it increases cunning and gravitas, and it's a negative 1% upkeep for all land units, and then later on increases replenishment rate for all units. And reduces upkeep as well, so let's go ahead and do that. And now, let's see, military conscriptor, increased replenishment rate. Now this isn't necessarily the beginning of the term. Let's go ahead and save this before we forget. Oh no. Okay. Now let's go ahead and combine these units. Now, let's see, 101, 100, let's combine them as well. Now we're running low on troops here. I think we actually it would be best for us to combine these armies together. Merge some of these units here. Now, we are running low on some of our units. It'll be more difficult to... Okay, so if we attack this unit right here, they'll be able to be reinforced by the garrison and the second army. But if we attack this unit right here, Ares' Dread, they will not. I think I'm going to try to combine these armies right now. Try to restructure this army, have a couple of generals, and then attack as a full force. I feel that they would be able to give us an advantage when deploying. So there's 12 units here and 8, so that's the limit. So now we are combined. Let's see if we can...
Gauls love the open road.
Wait, that's... that was not supposed to happen that way.
Move out.
Let's select all these units here. Okay, and this is led by Aukirix. Now we have our other general.
Honor the gods and your ancestors.
Let's send him back to our home territory.
Get moving. Gaul is mine
Now,
to us all.
let's take the initiative here. Save it as initiative. Again, I'm just learning this mod. I'm just learning this game. I didn't actually start playing Rome vanilla at all. I've just been playing with the DEI expansion. So I'm learning both the game and the mod at the same time. Now let's go ahead and attack this army. Ares' Dread.
Kill them all.
And we're going to do a night attack and let them auto-resolve the result. I don't know if they're going to flee. Say balanced stance. Oh, and that looks like a victory for us. Great. We are running extremely low on some of these troops here. We can't replenish in enemy territory, but we took out all their armies here. Let's get that ransom, that sweet ransom money. Now, if we attack him, they're going to be able to be reinforced by the Massilian garrison here. So let's not do that.
On the move.
We're going to strategically retreat here. Now we have an increased tradition. Now we have these two, the Wolves of the North and the Hearth Bearguard, which increases our melee defense and attack for our spear units, which is kind of the backbone of our army here. Increased upkeep for all land units and increased armor, but also increased campaign map movement range with Wolves of the North. So now we can actually add something to either one of those two, or get the third kind of general upgrade here, which is Rapine Plunderers. Reduced attritional losses when under siege, and increased morale for all units during offensive battles. Or, let's see, what else can we do here? Increased morale for all units during offensive battles. Increased weapon damage inflicted by all sword-armed units. We don't really have any too many sword-armed units, so I wouldn't want to do that. Dread Forest Ambushers. We do a lot of ambushing in the forest. That would actually be great for us. We do set up a lot of ambushes. That's kind of our style. Accomplished Skirmishers. We do have some pretty talented skirmishers. Now, Frontier Garrison, there's a public order bonus for that, and then a decreased unit recruitment cost. Or Stalwart Hearth Defenders. Let's go ahead and increase our morale during ambushes. That's kind of my favorite tactic to use right now, especially against larger enemies. Now we have a couple units here. We have the Claws of Andarta, and let's see if we can recruit some. So we have 2 units of Mighty Horse. Let's see, a unit of Heavy Skirmishers, and maybe get some of these guys here.
Warriors all.
And I think that'll be good for this turn. We have the Scout here. I mean, we could prevent this unit from going back to Massalia, but let's go ahead and just steal food. We're in a pretty good position here. The Massilians are up against it. They don't seem to have any real standing armies left. And it will take them a while to replenish or to recruit. So they have a couple of units here. Very, very low strength units. I'm not going to attack this unit because they're going to be reinforced by the garrison here at Massalia, which is very substantial. 17 units. If we can take these units out and get the secondary army down south, we might have a good shot of starving the garrison out. Let's go ahead and save. And end the turn. Looks like the computer is taking a minute to think. Massalia has now expanded. I like how this map is pretty dynamic. You get to see the growth of these settlements. It adds a lot of kind of flavor to the game. Obviously, the city of Massalia would not be that huge. That's a gigantic city. I'm not sure how the war is going in the northwest between the Carnutes and our other allies. And... ah! Nope, we're retreating.
Retreat! Finding shelter.
That's a very odd move on their part. We're just going to run them down with this army here. I'm not sure exactly what their plan there was. They are now much farther afield. I would have thought that maybe they would have wanted to have reinforced whatever forces they had remaining, but it looks like they were trying to pursue our one general, which, granted, he's a great general, but that seems like an odd decision to make. I guess, being in the defensive position, they wouldn't really be able to do anything except for wait out the siege. Now, if we can, it would be great to take Massalia. I'm not sure if we have the strength to do that with the forces that we have at our disposal.
My lord has ordered that your merchants must leave, and our traders return from your lands. It will be done.
Okay, so for whatever reason, the Toraberi Confederation decided to end their trade agreement with us, which seems like an odd move on their part. Again, I'm not sure if this is just a way for the computer AI to let you know, hey, there's a faction that is growing dissatisfied with you. Doesn't seem to make any sense for a nation to end a trade agreement out of nowhere. Okay, what else has happened here? Now, the Antigonidae have been destroyed. Antigonidae. And now the Claws of Andrata have increased their army size, which is more than enough to take care of these brave companions led by Cleon. We can have our general go back here.
To travel is to be,
and now he can actually recruit some units.
nothing else.
Let's have him recruit a couple of these guys and have him set up for that. Now, our army here, there's an agent. They're in the city. We might be able to just kind of surround the city and see if they want to come and sally forth. Let's save the game. Now let's have this guy run down Cleon.
Mighty warriors of Gaul, attack!
Oh, okay, and they're retreating, which is not a surprise, into the forests.
Gauls love the open. Eat none alive!
Can we even... no?
Kill
Okay.
the cowards!
Well, in that case, we are going to take this army.
For the tribe!
Let's see if we can take Massalia. Now, obviously, we can't do this now. A night attack would be even worse. Let's go ahead and build some siege engines. A couple ladders. Light gallery. Light battering ram. And we'll continue the siege. So, they have a much larger force, but the thing is that it's pretty much city defenders here. And their fleet, which is not going to do anything on land. So let's just continue the siege. We can build some more siege engines. They will take 18 turns because it has an open port, so I'm not afraid of them getting into their army in the meantime. Let's just continue the siege here.
Settlement for the tribe!
Let's see if we can sabotage. Now we can actually do something here.
I can't do that.
Huh. I don't know why he can't... oh, I guess it's too late for him to do any of that. No, I'm pretty sure that these guys aren't going to run anywhere. They could run into the forest. We'll chase them. There's no reason for us to not give chase. We'll go ahead and call that good. Save. And resume the game. End that turn. Now Massalia is under siege. Now, we don't really have that strong of an army outside of the city, but having the city under siege is better than not. It prevents them from sending armies to harass us elsewhere. We're not really losing anything except for upkeep costs, and our income seems to be fine right now. We're replenishing our armies from our general in the north. We have another army kind of pursuing a detachment of the troops that they had left through the mountain passes, it looks like, towards Genoa. We're kind of sitting pretty in our position here in Massalia. Now, they're attacking us. We don't really have the forces to fight them. Let's go ahead and retreat.
Fall back! Finding shelter.
Now, since we're here, we can actually set an ambush up here in this pass. Obviously, they were able to repel our smaller force here. Now, this gives us time to pursue this army here in the north. Have these guys prepare an ambush, or at least raid. They don't have a force that's strong enough to contend with us on the open battlefield. So, raiding will prevent them from kind of getting too comfortable. Might increase public or decrease public order and make them try to attack us. And in the meantime, we can also try to replenish our forces, send some reinforcements back down south. No need to be overly aggressive, just play it smart. A votive offering. Druids, astrologers, and soothsayers performed many societal functions within the barbarian cultures of the ancient world. They were arbitrators of dispute, keepers of lore, natural philosophers, and performers of ritual. Within the close-knit warp and weft of tribal life, they also acted as the chieftain's primary means of communicating with the gods. By oral tradition, the secrets, mysteries, and practices of appealing to and appeasing the gods were passed from one generation to the next. So now we have made a votive offering. We have increased public order and increased morale for all units for the next 4 turns, which is great. Now, let's save this. This unit is experiencing, their unit up here is experiencing attrition. Let's see if we can just end their misery.
Warriors all! Can't stand!
Looks like we won't be able to move that far either. Well, we'll keep them in that pass. Now, we're reinforcing here. Let's wait till the next turn for that. Can we sabotage the settlement? If we reconnoiter, we discover as yet discovered armies, settlements, and or agents belong to the target army's faction. It's not really something we need. It looks like we have most of the knowledge that we need. So their public order is at 100%.
How can I help?
And it's plus 16. It's pretty strong. I was never able to do that when I was playing as Massalia myself. Now, obviously, we can try to attack them again. I don't think that would necessarily be very helpful for us. So I think what I'm going to do here is raid. So that decreases their food supply, reduces our map movement range, but there's much less upkeep, and increased melee attack skill for all units, and melee defense skill is lowered. So there's minus 15 public order from raiding, and increased morale for all of our units. So this is just great for us. Now let's go right here. We can ambush forces later, and we can also just raid the region. I guess we have to start with a full complement there, but we can just set up an ambush, come back out of that ambush later.
The knife in the dark.
Gaul is mother to us all!
Now we are also experiencing attrition out here. We can raise another army. I don't see the point in that right now. Now, we were waiting for our heavy skirmishers and Celtic slingers. We don't really have any foot soldiers here, which is the most important thing. Let's go ahead and recruit some. Do we have any levies? Celtic slingers, Gallic youths. We could probably raise another force here in Nemosos and actually get those troops that we so desperately need. Let's raise another army. Who do we have here? Adamo. He has a large amount of zeal. So he can be very, very effective as a general. Let's go ahead and raise an army. Let's have him get those horsemen, and let's recruit a couple of these foot units, which are very much something that we need. I guess maybe not so many clubmen, but let's say spearmen. And then this army doesn't need... Okay, we'll wait for these 2 turns. Let's go ahead and end our turn there. Trying to consolidate power before the Romans start knocking on our door. That is the danger of capturing Massalia outright, is that we will then be exposing ourselves to the Mediterranean, which we don't really have any vested interests in that region. Of course, it increases the chance that we can trade. It increases the chance that we can have a fleet, because we do not have access to a coastal region at the moment. But at the same time, it also exposes our southern flank. Okay, and this is great. We set up an ambush. I was really not expecting them to actually do anything this dumb, but they decided to sally forth and maybe try to get to Genoa. We're going to have that auto-resolve. And let's say, yes, protective stance, sure. Or let's just be aggressive. I mean, there's no reason. We outnumber them by such a significant margin. Yes, and let's ransom those captives.
Travel is to be truly free.
Now, we are going to be pursuing this Massilian detachment through this pass right here. Now, as far as I can tell, they really just don't have any resources to raise any further armies. Genoa, I'm pretty sure, has nobody there. I'm not worried about the Wolkai. They're not going to raise their banner in defense of their overlord, who they seem to really dislike anyway. We're raising another army in Nemosos with footmen. Let's actually raise a baggage train. I've realized how much that makes a difference. This is going to be exciting to see if we can capture. If not capture, we can sack Massalia. We can sack Massalia, take the gold, not have to worry about actually administering that region. Turn our attention north. It seems like there's a lot of turbulence in Gaul to the north and northwest of us.
You have recruited so many units, the treasury is buckling under the weight of their upkeep.
Okay, so looks like our treasury is at the borderline right now. War has been declared. The Wolkai have declared war against the Massalia. Or Massalia. So, enemy of the enemy is my friend, correct? Now we're experiencing some attrition here. Let's go ahead and take care of this one little army here. And let's auto-resolve that. I'm not sure if they're actually going to stand and fight or if they're going to retreat, but... Oh, no, they did. And they still have some people remaining. Let's go ahead and ransom those captives. They're fleeing into Genoa. We'll try to chase them down. This army right here is actually ready to move south.
Get on our way. I live to serve the people of Gaul. Gauls love the open road.
Now, I'm not sure if the Wolkai are actually going to be able to field an army to go east and take control of Massalia. We want to make sure that we get there before they do. So let's save this. And say siege. Yep, that's not the right way to spell siege. I guess instead of spelling out that full file name, I should be able to just... Obviously, all the terms here are until necessary are going to be BC, and we could just abbreviate the seasons. Now, we have a full-strength army... Well, not full-strength, but we have a whole army here. Let's go ahead and try to encircle Massalia before the Wolkai get there. We're going to go ahead and build some battering rams and some ladders and some light galleries. Continue the siege. Now we need these armies to get down there as quickly as possible. Let's go ahead and end that turn here.